Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Frieren, episode 21, in which Frieren is probably gonna kick some major ass. That's about my only prediction. Right. In a previous episode, we got not a resolution. I don't want to call it a resolution because the event, the exam rather, is not finished yet, so you can't really call it a resolution. But the matter of who was it? Wirbel's group trying to steal Fern group's Stile, that got resolved. That got resolved very well. As it turns out, Fern's entire group is bona fide badasses. Jubel, she did have some trouble with Wirbel, admittedly, and she probably would have lost if not for Fern, because Fern is the best girl, as we all know. Fern, of course, had absolutely no issue defeating Leuven. No, not Leuven, sorry. What's her name? Echre. Echre. She had absolutely no issues. Saturation attack, 100 consecutive basic damage spells, and that was all that was necessary. Meanwhile, as it turns out, the seemingly nobody character, whose name I really can't remember up until this point, the glasses guy, where is he? Land also had absolutely zero issues defeating the other dude, whose name I legit forgot, and I cannot even find him. It wasn't Richter. No, Richter is with Denken. Geno is the examiner. The third person in Wirbel's group, in any way. In any case. So now their Stile is safe from them. And if their group was unable to steal the Stile from Fern, I don't think it's likely anybody else will be able to do that. So I say they are safe. Thankfully, Wirbel and his team, they were able to find the Stile, they were able to catch it, so they're not completely out of the running yet, which is cool, because I like them. They really grew on me in the previous episode, so I'm glad that we will see more of them during the course of this first rank exam. We also got a little bit of a backstory on Wirbel, so that's cool. And meanwhile, Frieren has to fight Denken and his team. And Denken, of course, being very, I don't want to say full of himself. No, he doesn't have that air of, I don't know, superiority around him, right? He's not like, oh, I'm stronger than you lot, in a way where he's trying to seem larger than he actually is. No, he fully believes that he is at this rank for a reason, and he will fight Frieren, and it will be an equal match at the very least. He's not trying to gloat about it or anything, it's just a matter of fact for him, right? We are going to be fighting as two mages on the same level. May the best mage win. It's probably going to be me, but, we'll see. That's kind of his approach. Leuven, of course, stole the Stile. Somehow managed to do that. And she has a spell that is very much interesting to Frieren, so maybe there's going to be something with that. Maybe Frieren will get a instant transmission spell. That would be interesting, seeing Frieren just, instant transmission. Meanwhile, Richter is facing off against Lavin and Kanne. Interesting is the topic of necessary killings and not unnecessary killings in the previous episode. Wirbel is very much against unnecessary killings. Meanwhile, we have Richter, who is very much for necessary killings, right? He believes that to get the Stile, they need to either kill Kanne or Lavin, so that Frieren's team is not whole and they cannot complete the test. Meanwhile, Denken believes that no, we don't have to do that. They're just young girls, they're just young mages. Let's not get rid of more mages in the world. We can just put them to sleep for those like 3 hours that are left to the challenge, and that will be enough. So again, the theme of unnecessary killings. We don't need to do that, so let us not. And that's where we are left with Richter raising a landmass and him facing Kane and Lavin on top of it. Meanwhile, down below, it's Frieren versus Denken, with Leuven being somewhere. In the meantime, we also meet the next examiner, I believe, or one of the examiners in the like line of exams they're gonna be doing. Maybe the next one, maybe some future, probably the next one. Sensei, who arrived to talk with Geno a little bit. And that's basically it. That's where we are left off. Right now it's gonna be Frieren versus Denken, Lavin and Kane versus Richter, and maybe we're gonna get a glimpse at Frieren's team, maybe we're gonna get a glimpse at Wirbel's team, maybe there's gonna be still something going on in those regards with them. I don't know. We'll see about it. We'll see all about it. And you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me in this episode. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what is going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that being said, we can start watching episode 21 of Frieren in 3, 2, 1, go. And it's raining. Oh, we get a flashback. Right, and we hear of her. What is that voice? What is that voice? I expected a Mesugaki, and what I got instead is this deep, feminine, not even feminine, almost androgynous voice. What? Okay. I'm gonna have to look up the voice actress for sure. Actually, let me open her page right now so that I don't forget. Where is she? Zeri. Actually, it's only the opening anyway, so might as well look her up. Maria Ise. She also voices, or will voice, Opera in Metallic Rouge. Who else? Himeno in Chainsaw Man, PP Me in Pop Tepi Pig Season 2. Foo Fighters in JoJo. A few male characters even. Interesting. Setsuko from Jujutsu Kaisen. Midari from Kakegurui. Catherine from Satsuriko no Tenshi. Huh. Yukina from Cabaneri. Okay. Bargland. Let me guess, it's the name of this geological formation in German. Barglando, I guess, as in berg, as in iceberg. Lando, as in land. Something like that. Oh, Frieren knows it very well. Believe you me. Oh, Flamme is her student. Interesting. Okay, so I guess Frieren already got hers. Yeah, I don't think at this point in time she even has one that she would like want necessarily, and also she already is in the mindset of, you know, trying to look for the spells. Interesting that you know it this early. I mean, you didn't, so... And why ever would that be? Yeah, a nice thread of understanding between them. I honestly was hoping that's gonna be enough to get rid of Richter. I honestly thought it's gonna be a case of him just talking the talk but not being able to walk the walk, you know? But no, he actually is strong, decently strong. Do you now? Right, she cannot create it, can she? Kind of reminiscent of Sasaki Topi-chan, right? No, probably not. That's the thing, probably not. Yeah. Right. It can stop a magic beam, but not so much a boulder that you just throw using magic. And defensive magic is something you use as a reaction, mostly. Right. Yeah, you cannot protect against it with just a basic shield. Even if you do protect yourself from the blow, then the, you know, rock formation will blow you together with the shield. No, not giving up this easily. Fair, actually. Blood is a liquid. Easy to imagine that. It is a contest of the amount of mana, true. Oh, so it was a bluff. I thought they are actually, like, doing something here. Right, to get an even fight. He's at a type disadvantage, right? Water has advantage against rock. And the bagpipes coming in. Or no, I think it's just a flute. Some sort of a wind instrument. And it's not going to take a lot of time. Unlikely, but give it your best shot. Fiery tornado. All right. I'm assuming again that the German names exactly describe what he's doing. Watch this being a Chekhov's gun and Frieren actually destroys the barrier. Frieren right about now, maybe. Fern, give her a decade or two. A predictable result. Oh, is this the result of the analysis? I mean, you are speaking to Fern's teacher. It was Frieren who taught Fern to just launch 100 consecutive attacks at the same time. Yeah, it would seem so. You don't need any more to fight mages of the current era. She practices what she preaches. Crucio. Yeah, I mean, it probably is a bluff. Although, shit, you never know. Yeah, like orders of magnitude. I mean, without Denken, you've lost anyway, so what's even the discussion we're having right now? That was quick. There we go. How's Kanne and Lavine doing, though? Not really, no. It's about prestige. It's about the chase. It's about ambition. Oh, I mean, almost the same reason as Frieren. I mean, shit, join us. Why don't you? We could use a fourth member of the party, why not? Oh, yeah, so it was her who was analyzing it. Is she going to destroy the barrier so that Kanei can use rainwater? Is that what's gonna happen? Or at least tear a hole in it? It's gotta be. Also, can't Kanei use water created by Lavine? Ice is water after all. Anti-barrier Zolthrak. You got it right. Mass Dispel. Not when we're talking about Frieren and Fern. There's nothing that's impossible. And crack. Easy. The hero Frieren, who else? The very same. I love the music here. It reminds me of Skyrim. So that Kanei can get water. Yeah? No, not really. Frieren happened. Don't touch water. There's a lot of water in the area, my dude. Yep. That's a lot of water. And as you said, shields are ineffective against physical attacks. And now freeze it, to make doubly sure that he's never going anywhere. And drown them. All 3 people in the party eliminated. Headbutts? 2-handed headbutts? Yes. Thank you. Headbutts akimbo. Kenshi. Yeah, that might be doable. 。  . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 .
「
I don't know. Are we getting another episode out of this arc? Oh, find the weekend ones. And oh, are they gonna try to fight Frieren? Are they gonna try to fight this team? They're gonna get another whooping. A lot. Right, there are no longer gonna be group tests. No, he's all about subterfuge. He's not gonna tell you anything. Okay, so not Frieren's party. Yeah, meaning they don't need the Stille anyway. Yeah, we went into this fight, we lost our friend, we caught the Stille at the cost of our friend's life. We're not just gonna give it away. Even if we were already lost, it would mean that our friend died for nothing, right? Makes perfect sense that they wouldn't cooperate. Why do you think Loifen is not with you? Oh, are you gonna pretend that you're also a party who lost their member? Okay. I really like Denken. Everything as usual in their camp? Okay, so all of our main parties are still get to pass further. Okay, so we're gonna get at least an episode of Slice of Life, I'm assuming. Or like perusing the archives or whatever. When parents aren't home. You have no idea. Okay. Oh, is this the first time we get the subtitles? Were there also subtitles to the opening and I missed them because I was looking at the voice actress? Probably. Okay. That was a very hype episode. Frieren versus Fern. Please tell me it's gonna be a thing. I wanna see it. Yeah, and limited just to basic attack, basic shield. Who's gonna win? Frieren has a lot of mana, so probably Frieren. Like, Fern can use her saturation attacks on regular mages because they don't have enough mana to shield themselves forever. But in case of Frieren, she probably can shield herself forever from Fern. Or at least until Fern runs out of mana because she simply has more. Interesting. Let's watch it again. Very good episode. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Figures that Frieren would have met her before. I mean, we knew that from her reaction in the previous episode, but we didn't know in what capacity did she meet Seria. I thought maybe as some sort of rivals or even enemies. I'm getting like antagonistic villainous vibes from Seria, so I thought maybe, you know, something in that vein. There's some old grudge or something. But no, it doesn't seem to be the case, at least as far as we can tell. This is a great visual. The whole place has deteriorated and Seria is sitting there like she was sitting there all this time. And she only got different clothes. I guess Greek togas are passé now. Or Roman? Greek? More Greek, I think. I know. I'm not much knowledgeable about antique fashion. A little bit disappointed. I would have expected a higher pile of books in this shot. Because, like, sure, at this time she had all of the grimoires ever written, but throughout those hundreds, thousands of years, I'm assuming more were written. So I would see her having a little bit more books in her place, but alas, maybe they're somewhere hidden in a storage room or something. Yeah, there are subtitles. Bargland. Let me pull up German translator. Translate Google.com from German. Where is it? There we go. Bargland. Bargland means Bargland. Okay. It tries to correct me to Barfland, and Barfland means Barfland. So, not the greatest translation. Barg means Barg. Thank you. And land is country. So that doesn't really give me much, does it? Certainly a flashy way of fighting. But yeah, for a reason he isolated this area from any sort of water. The greatest joy of magic lies in searching for it, yeah? A kindred spirit, isn't it? Student already has a student. I can give you one spell, whatever you desire. No, I want to find those spells myself. There's, you know, there's joy in figuring out the magic yourself, in finding spells, in creating your own spells. What joy would there be if you just give me what I desire, right? Cool. Especially since she has a basically unlimited amount of time to go searching for those spells. It would be a different thing if she was a human mage in her 60s. She has a limited amount of time and she really wants the spell that makes, I don't know, flowers bloom eternally or whatever. Then sure, it's, you know, she would probably do that. But she's an elf. She has thousands, tens of thousands of years old potentially to go around the world and look for those spells herself. After all, Zeria managed to amass them, why wouldn't Frieren be able to, right? She lacks a burning ambition. Sure, but you don't always necessarily need ambition. And I see my camera is flickering again, so let me turn it off and on again. She lacks a burning ambition, but she will defeat the Demon King. Her ambition is defeating the Demon King. No, not really. She wasn't like actively working towards that. Now that I think about it, Frieren didn't really have any ambition, did she? It's not like she was, she was driven by her need for vengeance, right? Demons destroyed my village, then I'm gonna destroy the demons. Or no, nothing of the sort. She even refused initially when Himmel wanted to take her onto the journey to defeat the Demon King. There was no drive in her. It will be a mage like her who clears the way to a peaceful era. And you say I cannot. As one who seeks battle, you cannot kill the Demon King. Interesting. You can't imagine yourself living in a peaceful era. I guess it makes sense. Like, if you only know war, if you only know fighting, then you wouldn't want peace to arrive. You would perhaps even subconsciously sabotage your own efforts at bringing world peace, right? That's the vibe I'm getting here. Frieren is a mage of a peaceful era. Is she, though? I wonder. She's a mage of the era of... whatchamacallit, of the Demon King. She's been alive during the war. So she's not really a mage of a peaceful era, unless you mean that she is a mage that will bring a peaceful era. She is a mage of peace in that meaning. This is how mages ought to be. Absolutely. He won't freeze at all. Difference between our mana. So does mana also act as some sort of an innate magic shield? Where, I don't know, you have level 20 mana, then every single spell below level 20 just has no effect on you. To speak in like game RPG terms, something along those lines. Weak Canne defense. Yeah, they have a nice separation of roles. Lavin is doing the offense, Canne is doing the defense. Old folks still teaching their students to fight defensive battles of attrition. Right, battles of attrition only make... I guess they do make sense. In a sense. Because you... But rather, battle of attrition makes sense for the party who has more mana. Because you could realistically extinguish your opponent's mana before you yourself run out. Battle of attrition makes sense for Fern. Battle of attrition makes sense for Frieren. But, yeah, things have changed. Zolthrak shield is resistant to magic because Zolthrak is magic and the shield was created specifically to counter that, but not so much against physical objects. Shielding spell needs to be simple. It needs to do one thing and do it good. And if you try to complicate it, if you try adding additional functionality to the Zolthrak shield, then it's just going to become something else. You're gonna spend more time chanting than someone with a knife spends time sticking it in your rib cage, right? Which I guess raises a question. Why did nobody create like a specifically anti-physical shield? Right? Like you have anti-magic shield spell that is simple, it works against magic, and you can pull it out at any time to defend yourself in a blink of an eye because it's simple enough to cast. Why isn't there an equivalent of that for physical attacks? Unless the equivalent of that for physical attacks is, for example, his rock fell, or maybe Lavin's ice wall or stuff like that. Maybe. Maybe. The history of magic is one of attacking and defending. Yeah, Anytime someone thinks of a sword, someone else thinks of a shield, then someone else thinks of a musket. It's just a never-ending chase. And the magic controlling physical objects became even more popular, because shields are not effective against physical objects. Even if they take the brunt of the damage, you cannot just stop a physical force. You cannot deny the laws of physics, so you will be bounced away with a hit like that. High volume physical attacks, indeed. 60% of human body is made of water. I really thought they are onto something here. That it's gonna turn out that Kanei can just be a bloodbender right now. She's gonna touch him and rip the blood out of his eye sockets or something like that. But no, we're not going for anything quite as gruesome. It was unfortunately just a bluff. We learn a lot about magic, though. You can only magic the things that you can imagine. If you cannot see the water inside of a human, you cannot use that water. That also answers my question that I had but never vocalized. Why couldn't Kanei just use air humidity? Right? Why couldn't she just use air from water from the vegetation? Because it's not easy to visualize air humidity. It's not easy to visualize water contained within the plant, right? It's easy to visualize a lake because you see a lake, or water drops because you see water drops, or clouds because you see the clouds. Humidity, it's an abstract concept as far as magic is concerned. Which kind of brings me to a point where it seems like people with stronger imagination, or even people with like stronger knowledge of the world, would possibly be stronger mages. Like if you have a knowledge about a tree physiology, how a tree works, how the juices flow through the tree, all those veins in only specific layers of the bark, etc., etc., and you can visualize it, then you can actually rip that water out of the tree. Because if so, then a really cool system. Reminds me a lot of Seiko no Quasar. I'm coming back to Seiko no Quasar very often when it comes to any shows that deal with magic, because I find the magic system in Seiko no Quasar just endlessly awesome. It's one thing that the source of mana for mages in Seiko no Quasar is not milk from voluptuous women's breasts, but soma, I think it's called. Totally not breast milk. Soma. That's the source of mana. But the second part of the magic system is that it's based on elements. Everybody, I don't know what they're even called. Every mage in that world has their magic based on a certain element from the periodic table. If you have control over, I don't know, palladium, you're kind of shit out of luck, because there isn't really any palladium around. You cannot really control it unless you like keep a vial or block of palladium on you at all times. But even then, palladium is fairly soft metal, so you can maybe bash someone's head in, but that's about it. Meanwhile, if you control oxygen, you can just snap your fingers and pull oxygen out of your enemy's lungs. And the more knowledge you have about those elements, about those materials, the stronger you can be as a fighter. Right? If you realize that, hey, blood actually has a lot of iron, and I can control iron, and I know how it looks in the blood, how, hemoglobin, etc., etc. I know how to pull out iron out of my blood. I don't need source of iron around. I can just create a dagger out of my own blood, out of my own hemoglobin, right? And if you have an understanding that, oh, titanium actually, yeah, it's a very strong metal, and I don't really have a chance of, blasting through your titanium shield, but it's also very brittle. So if I use my knowledge of nitrogen, I can create liquid nitrogen and freeze your titanium shield, and it will crack. Right? Stuff like that. It's just amazing. And the more you learn about the world, the stronger your magic is. I really like the idea of bringing science, like proper analytical science of the world, into a magic system. Another great example, Gate. How Lele was able to improve on her magic by understanding how the world works, right? She had an understanding of, oh, water is water, and I can control water, sure. But then she got a textbook and she figured, water is oxygen and hydrogen actually. And hydrogen is highly flammable, and water just happens to be the oxygen to hydrogen proportion of a highly explosive and volatile mixture. If I can use my magic to separate those two and ignite them, shit, I can explode water now. Right? I really, really, really enjoy bringing proper real-world science into magic systems. That was a long aside. Let's continue. Not even bluffing works. Right. Good call with him being afraid of something. If you really loved fighting enough, why did you not fight us on even ground? Right? If someone likes fighting, they would want an even fight, so that they can fight to their heart's content. They wouldn't want just a one-sided massacre. So why did you bring us to an area where you have an advantage and we have a disadvantage? What are you afraid of? I like it. They're smart. At least Lavina is. Just standard, regular battle spell. I love it that even Frieren just uses them against someone like Denken. She practices what she preaches. I like it. I really do. I'm going to settle this quickly. Yeah, try it. Waldgose. Like wild goose. Waldgose translates to Waldgose. Wald means forest. Okay. Gosse, maybe double S. Double S gosse means gutter. So forest gutter doesn't really make sense. And the second spell is Dausdorg, which has no translation. Da is as because here, then so in, since a lot of translations like that. And Osdorg, probably nothing. Dorg, no. Dorg, village. Village. So maybe Daus means something. Daus. Daus means Daus. Okay, village of Daus. Will the barrier hold? It should. It should. It cannot be destroyed by brute force. Well, who's talking about brute force? Someone's been analyzing it. Why? Gee, I wonder. I wonder why. Do you really think there's a mage in this world greater than Zeria? Yeah. I wonder if there's gonna be kind of a whatchamacallit, a moral of the story of, sure, Zeria is the greatest mage there is, but she kind of just laid down on her laurels, and she just kind of stopped developing. She just reached the peak, and that's it. Maybe that's why there are no more books after the time skip, because she amassed all the magic there was, and she just let off. I'm done, I got all the spells, I'm the greatest, whatever. I don't care anymore. Meanwhile, the world continued to work. Meanwhile, humans started figuring out new spells and new ways of improving. Meanwhile, Frieren was traveling and improving through her travels. Zeria reached the top and stopped moving. And when you stop moving, you start walking backwards. Frieren, meanwhile, never stopped. She was constantly chasing after new spells, thinking of new spells, collecting new spells, fighting new enemies, experiencing new experiences. I think I might be onto something here. And eventually she, like, overcame Seria herself. Catastravia. Something about a catastrophe? Translator, help me. I mean, I don't know if there's even any point trying to translate it from German, but sure. Catastravia. Means catastravia. Okay, I guess there is no translation of the first part. Let's try removing letters from the beginning. Atastravia. Tastravia. Astravia. Stravia. Travia. Ravia. Avia. Via. Is via. Okay, so this is just not an actual word or an amalgamation of words. Continuous volley of spears of light. Yeah, and she has a lot of mana, my dude. She can withstand 3 volleys like that and not break a sweat. Easy. Out of mana. And Frieren can bluff. I mean, Lavine also can bluff because she also has that poker face, but not quite to that degree. Her bluffs aren't as realistic. Meanwhile, Frieren, who is just a blank slate, nobody knows who she is, nobody knows what is she ready to do, nobody can read her. Will she actually not, kill him? Or will she actually do it? You don't know. Nobody knows. It's scary. It's a bluff that can work. She's a far better mage than me. Yeah, no better even than Richter. Yeah, she underestimates us. Not really. I mean, here's the thing. Frieren could just, I don't know, bury him underground, and you're gonna lose anyway. Your Stile isn't even necessary for you anyway because you would lose, because you would not have Denken anymore. So, kind of, what's the point trying to keep the Stile if Frieren can get rid of Denken one way or another, either by killing him or by isolating him. Now, thankfully, Loipen is a good girl, and she fell for it. We still would have won? Unlikely. Really unlikely. You've got wealth, influence, yeah. My homeland is located deep in the northern plateau, and I just wanna go there to visit the grave. And I need to be a first-class mage for that. Here I thought it's about, like, chase, about prestige, about stuff like that for him, but no. It's a very down-to-earth reason. I want to visit someone's grave in the northern lands, and I'm not allowed to go there without being a first-class mage, so I just kind of have to do that. I find it really cool, or rather, it creates a nice potential that Frieren is a witness to this conversation, because it gives us the possibility of Denken losing and joining our team. Where are you, Frieren? Frieren, where art thou? There it is. Denken loses the exam, joins Frieren's team to be able to travel north. Entirely plausible. And would actually be nice to have a fourth member of the party. Richter will kill them. Unlikely. Yeah. Frieren has trust in Kanne and Lavine, but she's also gonna help them a little bit. Analyzing the barrier, yeah. Frieren, don't tell me. It's not a problem. It's impossible. This is something I really liked. It's impossible. Even if the world were turned upside down, he says, as the colors are being inverted, the world, or the colors at least, being turned upside down. That's cool. I really like it. I don't know if that was the intent or not, but it just comes out as a really nice thing. Also, I think the effect on her is CG, because the lines are too thin to render the outlines properly, so they are very pixelated. Yeah, more negative filter. There we go. There we go. Easy. Who's that elf mage? Frieren. The very same. Yeah, she had a holy emblem too. The last great mage. So apparently the holy emblems were something that was given to the great mages. Like, in general, something like first class mages back in the days, or maybe something even higher. Possible. Also, I like how Geno and Zenza are absolutely not reacting to it. They're like, who's that mage, pray tell? Ah, the hero of old, right? And I thought the barrier is unbroken. I like it. I really do. And sense Theria. Theria can sense it. I wanted to make a pun, but I mixed up sense and Theria. I love her voice. So ill-fitting, honestly, but also so fitting at the same time. This is why I can't quit being a mage. In the world of magic, sometimes the world is turned upside down. In your face, Geno. Why would you do that? Water. Why else? Can you imagine defeating a mage who controls water in the rain? No. No, not really. For someone who seemingly is such a great mage, Richter is also not the brightest. Like, oh, I'm fighting a mage who can control water and a mage who can control ice. Let me touch this paddle real quick. What can go wrong? You can have a lake dropped on your head, for example. A high volume physical attack that, true to his word, breaks through his shield easily. Headbutts Akimbo. Yeah, of course, Kanne is happy about it. Lavine is also happy about it, but she's hiding that fact. 2 hours left, out of mana. But Denken is motivated. He's motivated. He's gonna do everything he can. I honestly thought that they're gonna meet this trio and they're gonna be like, oh, you know, young mages. I haven't heard any of their names. They seem like an easy picking. And then Frieren just does, 100 consecutive normal attack spells and they get blasted off like the fucking Team Rocket. But no. What spells do you have? Oh, a spell that can turn clothes invisible, and of course Yubel just hides herself. You shouldn't reveal much because, yeah, next time we're not gonna be in a team. They're keeping a tight hold on their Stile, yeah, because if they were to let it go, then what would be the sacrifice of their friend for? It wouldn't feel right to let go of it. Negotiation? Yeah, with my fucking fists. I love it. This is great. This is great. I love Denken. it's crazy how much I grew to like those teams over time, right? They were presented in the antagonistic way, right? They are obstructions to our main characters. Meanwhile, I really grew to like Wirbel's team. I really grew to like Denken. Not so much Richter, but Denken I like. I like his drive. I like that his, I'm out of mana. Doesn't mean I'm out of the fight, though. Right? I like it. I really do. And here's another team who also managed to catch a Stile, and they are for some reason listed on a list of characters. Right? Yeah, the bald guy is Blay. The girl is Edel. And the mustache man is not listed, I don't think. Yeah. And we have a couple of other people added to the list of characters I see, like Falsch and Lange. I wonder who they're gonna be. We'll see. Test is now over. 6 parties, 18 individuals have passed the first test. Yeah. That's all. You are dismissed. Of course, both Frieren and Fern passed. That look. Meanwhile, Stark is living the life. What do we have at the end here? Don't worry, Miss Frieren, don't talk about that. It's not my birthday. I can't indulge myself like this. You must eat your vegetables too. You're even more spoiled than me. Future enemies. Next time will be enemies. Okay, so I guess the next episode will be mostly just slice of lifey. I know, feasting on some burgers and Stark being like, oh, it's not my birthday, I can't eat this much. Something like that, probably celebrating their win. I know, we'll see. And future enemies, which means, I wonder if it's gonna be one big FFA, kind of an exam, or is it going to be maybe a battle, like a fighting arc where they're placed in brackets and they have to fight each other, like a tournament arc. Wouldn't make sense though if you want to have like potentially more than one first class mage, or potentially less than one first class mage, because when it comes to a tournament, there would always be one victor. So no more, no less. So I guess it doesn't make sense. It has to be something of an FFA kind, maybe another task they have to do in a limited area, something like that. We'll see. We'll see all about that in the next episode, of course, but right now that's gonna be it. I've already been talking for over an hour. So, to sum things up, very good episode. I really enjoyed myself. A satisfying conclusion to all those sub-arcs that we've seen. Frieren, of course, being unbeatable, as always, to nobody's surprise. Kane and Lavin doing surprisingly well against a mage like that. Even before the rain started falling down, they were still holding their ground. Right? It was not a ruffle stomp for Richter, and that speaks volumes, I think. What else was there that's worth mentioning? It was expected that the main teams will pass, right? Denken's team, Wirbel's team, Frieren's team, Feren's team, and 2 other teams, so probably Edel's team and some other unnamed one. I wonder what the future tasks will be, and I also wonder how long will this arc take, this exam arc take. We have, 7 more episodes to go? Yeah, 7 more episodes to go. So, I wonder how many of those episodes will be the exam arc. How many more tasks are ahead of us? Maybe the exam is gonna last until the very end of the season. It's not entirely out of the question if you think about it, because this first exam took us 3 episodes, 4? Something thereabouts. Entirely plausible that the next one will also take 3-4 episodes. right? Or we're gonna get the next episode, an episode of a break, and then 4 episodes or 5 episodes of the next exam, and then we're gonna get one episode for the finale. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it would make sense if this entire season, well, not the entire season, we had some different episodes at the beginning, but this part of the season being focused on the exam. I have to wonder what would the finale be. Then again, the finale in the case of this show can really be anything. I don't think I like really strongly expect or hope for a big bad boss battle kind of thing, right? Where they have to kill a dragon or they have to defeat Seria in hand-to-hand combat or anything of the sort. I feel like the finale can just be slice of life episode, right? We finished the exam, now we're celebrating, we're sitting down on a bench looking at the stars. Himmel, I'm coming, and roll the credits and the season, or something like that. It would also be very fitting. So I don't really have to, I don't really need to, I don't feel the need to search for any possible like super high point endings of the battle with the final boss, the great big battle on the plains. Nothing of the sort. I don't think it's necessary. We'll see. I like how this episode really taught us a lot about magic, and in a very diegetic way as well. Notice how it was a whatchamacallit? It was a lecture, but a lecture during battle. It wasn't a lecture. Like sometimes in fantasy shows you have that one scene in a classroom where the teacher talks about the basics of magic, yada 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 yada, technically teaching that to the main character, but really teaching it to us. Not in this case. Richter felt the need to elaborate on that, to teach Kane and Lavin a little bit, but only because he saw them as students, as young girls who might not know, and he feels it necessary to be an educator at this point. Also from the point of like gloating, of feeling superior to them, right? Let me teach you how it's done. It makes sense in the world. It's very diegetic, and I can always appreciate it. Not talking at the audience, but actually talking at the characters in the show. Anything else? No, I think that's it. I think I said my piece. Really enjoyed this episode. And that's about all I can say about it, honestly. Really enjoyed it. Really liked it. It was really hype. And more, please. Season 2, ideally. Season 2, please. Please give us any news about Season 2. I beg of you. It doesn't have to be now. It can be next year, but please. There has to be a season. There has to be a Season 2 to this show. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me right now for this episode of Frieren. So you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that, in the comments down below. No spoilers though. Spoilers can go to my Discord here, also in the description. Like this video if you did, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not just Frieren, but also Mage Record, Shangri-La Frontier, Majo Toyaju, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via memberships, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Survivor, Zayrain, Akamasa, Dr. Watt, Marshikela, Fessel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to fight a water mage in the rain.